This is the in-cab form, the actual inside portion of the in-cab. First thing I'm going to start with is my 4 pieces of safety equipment. The first one being my seat belt here. It is securely mounted at the top and bottom. The belt itself is not cut or torn or frayed, and it latches securely. Next piece of safety equipment is going to be a set of red reflective triangles. Those are going to be down here underneath the seat in this particular truck. Right there. I want to make sure those are securely mounted. All 3 triangles are present and in good condition. Next piece of emergency equipment is going to be my fire extinguisher. It's right here next to my driver's seat. I want to make sure it is securely mounted. Check that right here. It is fully charged and it is properly rated. 4th piece of safety equipment is my spare electrical. So I have extra fuses either in the glove box there, or sometimes they can be in a spare fuse box underneath the hood. And the truck is equipped with circuit breakers. So I did my 4 pieces of safety equipment: seat belt, red reflective triangles, fire extinguisher, and spare electrical. After that, I'm going to do a safe start. So to do that, I first want to make sure my brakes are applied, tractor and trailer. I want to make sure I'm in neutral. Place my foot on the brake pedal and just do a quick check around the vehicle. Make sure nobody's under the hood or underneath the vehicle or approaching. Just doing a general check outside and make sure everything's safe. So after that, I will turn my key on. I'm gonna let my gauges cycle, get the truck ready to start. All right, we'll go ahead and start it. Okay, once everything kind of gets booted up here, my first gauge that I'm going to check, my oil pressure. It is rising to a proper operating range, no warning lights. Next, I'm going to check my water or coolant temperature. It is rising to a proper operating range, no warning lights.
My fuel and depth gauges are both at an adequate level for the day.
My voltmeter is up here in the top left. It is reading 14.1 volts, which tells me my alternator is charging my electrical system properly. Next, I'm going to check my air gauges. They're at a proper operating range, 100 to 125, and there is no warning lights. I have no other warning lights on the dash, and my ABS light is off. After that, I'm going to check my dash light indicators. I'll start with my left turn signal, right turn signal, 4-way flashers, and my high beam indicator. All of those are working. After that, I'm going to finish up the last thing I need to talk about here on my dash, which is my heat and defrost. So to test my defrost first, I'm going to turn my fan all the way up, make sure it's on heat, and I'm already at the defrost setting. So I'll stick my hand up here over the defrost vents, make sure I feel air, and I do. So the defrost is working properly. Next, to test my heat, I'm going to move the dial down to my feet. They're still on heat, the fan's still all the way up. Then I'll stick my hand underneath the dash here, make sure I feel air, and I do. So both my heat and defrost are working. Turn that back to where it's comfortable. So that's everything I need to worry about on my dash for right now. next thing I'm going to take a look at is what's on my steering wheel. The steering wheel itself and what's on the steering wheel. So the steering wheel itself can have no more than 2 inches or 10 degrees of play. So that is that little bit of movement before the steering gets tight. It can be no more than 2 inches or 10 degrees. And this one's nice and tight. Next, I'll check my horns. I have a city horn here, or an electric horn, and I have an air horn here. Both of those are working. Next, I'm going to check my windows and my mirrors. So here, my driver's side window. The window itself is in good condition. It's clean, not damaged, and it functions properly. I have my driver's side mirror here. Both my top and bottom lenses are clean, not damaged, not cracked or missing, and they are properly adjusted from the inside. If I move over a little bit, I can see I have my windshield here. It is clean, not damaged, no cracks, no illegal stickers obstructing my view. And to keep my windshield clean and in good condition, I have windshield wiper arms, blades, and washers. So the arms, they move up and down properly and freely. They're in good condition. My windshield wiper blades are also in good condition. And my windshield washers function properly and keep my windshield clean. Turn those off. Over here on the right, I have a window and mirror again. So I'll make sure that window is in good condition, not cracked or broken. It is clean and the window functions properly. I have my passenger side mirror. The lenses, both top and bottom, are in good condition, not cracked or damaged, properly adjusted from the inside. I also have a little extra mirror up there. I'll take a look at it and make sure that it's securely mounted, not damaged or missing, and properly adjusted. So after I did my safety equipment, my safe start, I did my gauges and my indicators, I finished up my dash and did my heat and defrost. Then I did my steering wheel, which includes the horn and the steering play. Worked my way from left to right, did my windows, mirrors, windshield, wipers, windows and mirror. After that, I'm ready to move on to a brake test. So for the brake test, it has 3 parts, 3 main parts: the parking brake test, service brake test, and air brake check. Within that air brake check, there are 3 little tests: the leaks test, alarms test, and a buttons test. Lab, L-A-B. So we have PSA, parking, service, and air. And then once you get into the air brake check, you have your lab, your leaks, alarms, and buttons tests. So to start my parking brake test, first thing I'm going to do is, while I'm testing the parking brakes, I have 2 different brakes here, the trailer and the tractor. The first one I'm going to test is my trailer brake. So in order to test that, I need to release my tractor brake. And to test that trailer brake, I'm going to be pulling against it and make sure that it holds my vehicle. So that's why I released the tractor brake. I'm going to place the tractor into drive. And I'm going to do 2 gentle tugs against those trailer brakes and make sure that they hold the vehicle. Alright, there's my first tug and my second tug. Alright, my trailer brakes held the vehicle. Go back to neutral. So I just tested my trailer brake. Next, I'm going to test my tractor brake. So in order to test that, I need to apply the tractor brake. I'm going to release my trailer brake. That way it doesn't have any resistance. I just want to test the tractor now. Place the tractor back into drive and do 2 tugs. Alright, I've done 2 tugs on my tractor brakes and they held. I'm going to go back to neutral, set my trailer brake, That's the end of my parking brake test. First I tested my trailer brakes and they held. Then I tested my tractor brake and it held. So PSA, parking brake test, service brake test, and air brake check. I'm now into my service brake test. And here at DMAC, we just do a verbal service brake test. We're just gonna talk through it. The purpose of the service brake test is to make sure that when I press on the service brakes as I'm rolling down the road, that they bring the vehicle to a safe stop and it doesn't pull left or right. So how I do that verbally is I'll explain that I would release both my tractor and my trailer brake. I would place the truck in drive forward to approximately 5 miles per hour, and then apply my service brake to bring the vehicle to a safe stop. And then I'm going to watch and make sure that my vehicle does not pull to the left or to the right. That concludes my service brake test. I've done parking, I just did service, and I'm going to do my air brake check. To do that air brake check, I have 3 smaller tests that I'm going to perform. The first one being testing for leaks. Remember, once you get into the air brake check, you have LAB, L-A-B, leaks, alarms, and buttons. So that first small test is for leaks. In order to test for leaks, I need to shut my tractor off, because we know underneath the hood there is an air compressor. And if I didn't shut the tractor off to test for leaks, that air compressor would be running and compensating for any leaks I might have, and I might not be able to detect them. So we shut the tractor off, and I'm gonna get out and I'm gonna chock my wheels here, because when I come back in and turn my ignition on, I'm gonna be releasing the brakes, and when that happens, I wanna make sure the tractor doesn't roll. So I'm gonna go chock my wheels and I'll be right back. All right, so the wheels are chocked. Now, to be able to monitor if I have any leaks, I'm gonna need my gauges. And you can see now we have the tractor off and there's no gauges. So I'm gonna turn the tractor just to the on position. That way I have all my gauges. And then we know after I test for leaks, I'm gonna be testing my alarms and warning lights. So I need to have the dash on for that too. Now I don't want to start it, because remember that air compressor is going to compensate for any leaks when it's running, and I don't want that to make a false test. All right, so I have all my gauges pulled up. Get rid of that here. All right, so I know I'm about to test for leaks, so I need to pressurize all air systems on the tractor and trailer. How I do that is releasing my brakes, and I'm sending air into the parking brake side of the brake chambers and all of the air lines. Now we know we have some dual brake chambers on this tractor and trailer. So like I said, I just sent air to the parking brake side. There's also a service brake side of those brake chambers. So in order to pressurize those too and test it for leaks, I'm gonna press on the service brake. So I have my parking brake circuits all full, my service brake circuits all full. So the entire system is full of air now, and I can test the whole system for leaks. Now that I've filled everything with air, there's gonna be an initial drop when I fill everything with air. So after that initial drop, I'm gonna hold this service brake pedal for 1 minute, and I'm gonna watch these air gauges, primary and secondary, number 1 and 2, and I should not see, if I time this for a minute, no more than 4 PSI of drop in those air gauges. Okay, it's been a minute. In both tanks, primary and secondary, air tanks 1 and 2, I did not lose more than 4 PSI. I'm still holding the brake pedal after that minute, and my buttons are still pressed in. The brakes are released. So we didn't leak more than 4 PSI, so we're good there. The next test, I'm gonna make sure that in the event of an air leak and I was losing air pressure, I wanna make sure that those alarms and lights come on and alert me that I have low air. So in order to test that, I need to intentionally leak air out of the system. I do that by pumping the service brake. That's going to bleed air out of the system, simulating a leak. And I need those warning lights and alarms to come on before my primary and secondary reach 60 psi. Okay, so we were at around 75 in the primary and then right around 60 on the secondary, and we have our low air warnings coming on. So that system is functioning properly. Next thing I'm going to test for, remember we're in the air brake check and we have leaks, alarms, and buttons. So I already did my leaks by testing everything for a minute. Then I just tested my low air warnings. The last test, leaks, alarms, buttons, I'm going to test my brake buttons. So in the event of a major air leak, I need to make sure that my spring brakes take over and automatically set my brakes. So I do that by continuing to leak air out of the system by pumping the brakes. And between 20 and 45 psi, my spring brakes should take over and automatically push out my brake buttons. We'll be able to hear it and see them push out. All right, the primary got between 20 and 45, and at that time my spring brakes took over. There was not enough air in the system to keep them caged, and they pushed my brake buttons out. That completes the inside portion of the in-cab inspection. After this, we'll go into inspecting our coupling components on the tractor and trailer.
Another very important inspection is the coupling system, making sure that the tractor and trailer are securely fixed to one another. That starts here at the back of the cab with the air lines and the electrical lines, making sure that they are not damaged, that they don't drag on any part of the frame, the hoses are not frayed, there's no wires showing in the electrical cable, our glad hands are secure and the glad hand seals are in place. Now, if we had a trailer on here, these would be hooked to the front of the trailer, and I would check the same things there. So we'll show you where that is on a trailer, but it's easier to see the coupling without the trailer on. Now I need to check the coupling system that is on the tractor. This piece of steel that's bolted to the frame is what the fifth wheel platform is attached to. I'm going to check all those mounting bolts. Make sure that they're secure and that they're not loose or missing. Also the bolts that hold the platform onto that piece of steel. What if those bolts were missing or loose?
Well, if I was missing one or maybe even more of them, that fifth wheel probably wouldn't be securely mounted.
Wouldn't be very secure, would it?
Could the trailer come off?
Potentially. Potentially. The fifth wheel platform also has the sliding fifth wheel rail. This fifth wheel plate can slide through all of these positions to be able to adjust the weight of your axles, the weight that's on the axles. I want to make sure that these are all secure. There's no broken welds, there's no cracks. I'm also going to check the fifth wheel platform, or the fifth wheel plate. This is the part that slides along the platform. Make sure that it is secure, that there's no damage. I'm going to make sure that the locking pins are engaged, that the air cylinder that operates the pins for the sliding fifth wheel is not leaking, it's not damaged. I'm going to check the fifth wheel release arm. Make sure that it is fully engaged with the trailer on, or if the trailer is not on, that it is extended in the open position. I'm going to check the fifth wheel plate. Make sure that it is properly lubricated, that it is firmly on the trailer connected. There's no gap in between the fifth wheel and the apron of the trailer. And then I'm going to go behind and check the connection of the fifth wheel jaws. And I would make sure that the fifth wheel jaws are around the fifth wheel or the kingpin of the trailer, and it's securely attached. So that's the tractor part of the coupling. Let's go take a look at a trailer and see the trailer parts of the coupling. So here's part of the coupling system of the front of the trailer. These are where the trailer glad hands from the back of the tractor connect to the trailer. And then this is where the electric connects to the trailer. I want to check these glad hand seals and make sure that they're not damaged. I want to check the glad hand connection and make sure that they are secure. And then under the trailer, there is a big steel plate. This is called the apron. The apron is what carries all of the weight of that whole trailer on the back of the tractor. I want to make sure that that apron is not damaged, it's not cracked, it's not broken. Then I also want to check the kingpin. This kingpin is what holds the trailer and tractor together. I want to make sure that that kingpin is not damaged, that it's not loose, and that it will be sturdy enough to hold the trailer on.
There's a lot of grease on there too.
There is a lot of grease. The grease is there so that it reduces friction when the truck and trailer are turning.